I tell you what, I mean, I'm seeing coming up.
Bonjour. ¿Cómo estás?
Ça va bien.
Ça va bien. We got to practice our French.
We do have to practice our French
absolutely.
because we might have people listening there.
Get out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always excited about the metrics talk. Always excited.
The metrics talk is wicked, right? But I'll tell you what, we are, there's some big things happening. You want to know how many Podbean followers we're at?
Not yet until we do the metrics.
Oh, okay.
This is just...
I got excited.
Yeah, you do.
I got really excited. So
Yesterday, I'm watching the game, and I used to play ball a little bit myself, and I see this guy's, and I've seen it a few times.
Hold on. You played ball?
Oh, I did.
You
I'm
played
no
baseball
joke, buddy.
growing up?
I was actually not bad back in the day. I was all right.
Are you being serious?
I was. Look at this stature. That Altuve guy on the Houston Rocket, or on the Houston Astros, sorry.
Yeah.
He's slightly shorter than me. He's like 5'7". I'm 5'10", so I like have a couple of inches on the guy.
You're
but
always looking.
that dude
to plug
is
up.
crushing.
You are not 5'10",
Buddy,
Mitch.
I'm skimming 5'10". We've talked about this, and it's only your fault for not putting, the measuring tape to that whole
You're
thing.
absolutely right, but I think what I want to do is we should take you to a doctor's office or something where they actually have it up against the wall because I want to snap an Instagram photo of it. Because you're fooling the public.
Okay, well, that's fine. You know what? I can't wait for us to actually Instagram that. We're going to go to the doctors together, and you're going to measure me. I'm down. You can measure me any which way you want so you can see what a real man looks like, by the way.
Yeah,
and that
easy.
And that's the start of podcast number 5.
There we go.
I'm like back on track now. I think I know.
You're right back on track.
Yeah.
Now we know what episode we're on, and we even confuse ourselves, right?
Oh, all the time. It's crazy. Like every week, I literally have to remind myself. It's like an exam. Like I sit there, I'm like, number 5.
I know. We just guess. Like we'll be like, "Yeah, welcome to podcast number 5." Later in about 20 minutes,
What happens
we'll
if
be
we do like
podcast 4?
1,000 of these? Do I have to keep doing it? Like podcast number 1,437.
I hope at that point we're so big that we actually have people doing an introduction for us.
You know what?
That we don't have to worry about.
I want Zach to come in here and do a quick like.
Zach ain't going anywhere.
He can go. And by the way, he was about 4 seconds away from taking your seat. You were a little late today.
Yes,
and
I was.
he was anxious. He was getting a little excited.
Zach, you looking to take my spot?
Looking to take it. He would dominate your spot.
Oh,
dominate your
on.
spot.
Challenge accepted. No, I would love Zach in here. Actually, I've been saying we should get Zach a microphone on the outside.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Just because we always ask you guys for advice and whatnot, right?
It's
or,
true.
To pitch in. So I'm just saying, we need people to know.
You'd be surprised how many people asked me last week. They're like, how quickly Jeff answered the question, what do you get when you put morphine and cocaine together? And how quickly he came up with that answer. People were very impressed with the intelligence we have in this room.
Yes, and speedballs. They're speedballs.
They're
apparently.
speedballs, everyone.
I was educated and tempted to try.
You know what? That just shows how secluded we were growing up. That we don't know that right off the bat.
I'm putting it up there with foreign things I haven't done yet. Speedballs and anal.
It's all. I'm not. Well, all right. We're really starting this one off with a bang. I like it.
Oh, too funny, man. Too funny. But going back, so you touched on some, and I want to go back in there because with the baseball.
Yeah.
Same with the oven mitts. I actually never thought about that. That's actually hilarious. But what a game.
Crazy.
What a game. What a series. I got to be honest. Again, I've mentioned it before. Baseball's not exactly like my forte of sport. It's not, I like my football and hockey.
Yeah, of course.
And whatnot. But the World Series, I just don't remember a time that it's never disappointed. Mm-hmm. Or ever disappointed, I should say. Every time the finals come along, the games are excellent. And you're stuck watching. I couldn't believe what happened yesterday. So as y'all know, obviously, if we're saying it, it's Monday today. So obviously we're recording one day before than we usually do because of Halloween. So Jeff can do his... So, can you do that again? Let me rewind it. I'm gonna set you up with Halloween.
Go ahead.
Now.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Monday today, and we're recording one day before, just because Tuesday is Halloween.
Pretty good? Not bad?
Actually, it was pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Put that on the effects board, boys. But no, it's the World Series is great. I thought the game was over. I thought the Dodgers had it.
Dude, it was an excellent game. I rewatched a little bit. I went home real quick before I came here, and it was on Sportsnet. And I got to admit, like it was perfect timing. The guy had just hit a home run. I think it was who who was it, Altuve or Springer? Springer just hit a home run. And then it just went fiasco from there. Look, I love it, but a couple of podcasts ago I said that how baseball is that, during the playoffs it's supposed to be a little bit more tighter. And so I'm a little disappointed, I'm going to be honest with you, where the pitching isn't overtaking, but you know what? As long as both teams are smashing home runs against each other, I'll take it. It is exciting that way.
Yeah.
I just don't want these games to go out of hand where it becomes a blowout, but it's not.
I think the problem was Kershaw. I think he fucked the whole thing up for the Dodgers, man. I got to be honest with you. This guy, he's letting it loose, and I don't know what they're going to do because they were, the moment the Dodgers tied the series up. Mm-hmm. And especially if you go that game before where the Astros were winning 1-0, I think up until the top of the 8th. I think they were batting top of the 8th.
That's right, yeah.
Then they got the tying run and subsequently had the win. I thought from there, I said, you know what? We put a poll out.
Yeah.
I put a Twitter poll out when the series was tied. Actually, with that, everyone voted that the Dodgers would go on to win. And I think I agreed. I voted the Astros. I still think the Astros are going to take it, but I thought the Dodgers, okay, you tie the series, they're coming right up into it. And then that happened. I think that was a game. I think that was the destroyer. I don't know if this goes into Game 7 anymore. I think Kershaw is just not pitching good at all. And I think he's on complete tilt.
Yeah. I think Houston is going to try to, obviously, they want to wrap it up. They don't want it to go to a Game 7. I think if it goes to Game 7, Dodgers will win it. It's going to be exciting. And MLB is loving this. Doesn't matter who you're cheering for. It's great baseball. Yep. And people are loving it right now. And good on baseball. This is what you want. The two best teams duking it out, mano a mano, smashing each other in the face. This is exactly what people pay their tickets for. And good for them. So you told me, you kind of emailed me earlier, or no, text messaged me this week, something about metrics, something that there's some crazy things going on. What are we doing here?
Okay, so we're doing a lot of
What
things.
happened?
I'll tell you exactly.
Give me the good news and bad news.
Is there bad news?
No,
the way we're going?
I don't know. The way you sometimes send out your cryptic messages. I never know.
Those are the D pics I send out. That's what he's talking about, guys.
It's true.
Yeah. Everyone's like, what's happening today? it's Halloween. So, metrics right now, we are taking over the world like a risk board. We're going right through Europe. We're at the point where we're going to conquer Europe. We're going to get 5 extra troops on every turn, and we can even draw for a card right now. That's how we're expanding. We have been downloaded in 2 new countries this week.
What?
Not one, two
new countries.
France,
bonjour.
And Germany.
Comment,
that's
Dankeschön? No.
Yes,
Dankeschön.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, so to all our fans in France and
Wow.
Germany, merci beaucoup and Dankeschön.
Dankeschön,
yes.
yeah, wow, that is...
I'm telling you, so Podbean has like the map, right, on the geography, so you can actually go, so it highlights where you've been downloaded.
Right.
Mitch, it's like a risk board.
It's
global domination.
It's global domination right now.
We're going crazy over here.
So let me get this straight. You go to France, or we go to France together. Right. We are basically bodyguards, black sedans picking us up, taking us all around. Same thing if we go to Germany.
Absolutely, we have to.
Wow.
We can't,
That's how big we've become.
We've become huge.
Compare that to, like, other people.
Absolutely. So right now, we got our eyes set on someone, Mitch. We've been talking about
Yeah, we've been talking.
We don't want to deal with the bottom feeders.
Yeah, we
don't. Come on. We already know we're better than that.
We
want the big guys.
We're aiming for the top. Mama always said, go to the top.
Screw Tony Romo. I know I had my beefs with him. I'll still get him if I see him. If I see him, I'll still get him.
Don't even get me started, because Buck has been taking over those baseball, because his dad is like a legendary whatever. Yeah. And I keep listening to him, and you can tell who he's cheering for. You can tell who he's cheering for.
You're right. And you know what's funny? Every time I hear Joe Buck's voice, I'm like, you son of a bitch. I go, if my partner Mitch gets his hands on you, I'm on the Mitch train now. I know I thought that he could beat you, but no, I'm on the Mitch train. I think that you destroy him.
I think so.
Yeah, within the first round.
Done.
But we got our eyes set on someone else. Yeah. Big dog.
Big dogs.
And that's Joe Rogan.
Joey Rogan. We're coming after you, Joe.
Hey, Uncle Joe. Watch out.
Watch out. We're coming for all your followers.
We'll give you a little experience of our own.
You know, the funny thing is, he's awesome. I have to, we joke about it, but in all honesty, this guy
does
is
have a good-
so powerful right now. And congrats to that guy. Wow, it's crazy.
He's got a good show, right? He's connected.
He's
so
connected.
He's definitely a celebrity.
But it's pretty
in the
cool,
limelight.
like what his show's all about. It's just random stuff. Like he's having a good time. Good for him, and just
we actually
inspirational.
don't mind him, but we want to kick his ass.
But we want to take you down, Joe.
On Podbean right now, because I'm not looking at the other ones. It's just where we are in terms of the podcast. He has 40,895 followers.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
In a month, we've accumulated 26.
Done. He's so, buddy. That's 26 guys he didn't
Do you
get.
understand what kind of traction this is?
This is huge.
What kind of pull we're doing here?
This is like putting salt behind your tire in the wintertime.
Joe Rogan, more like Joe, not going to be at the top anymore.
We're coming for you, Joe. You know what the worst part is? He will beat us senseless if he ever meets us.
He would beat us.
He would actually beat us up.
Totally.
100%.
Absolutely. But so we're doing good in the metrics, and we're also doing really good, from what I understand, Mitch, in sponsorship.
You know what? I think somehow sponsorship has taken a little weird form. So we were looking for money to do, pay for the studio time, do some marketing, and we've gotten some of that, and that's some good news that I'll let you tell the people about when the time comes. However, ever since the coffee thing has come out, where we're drinking our coffees and sitting down chilling, a lot of people have been donating. So we had the Pete Zanis sticking out. We had Bonacera North send us some
Home
coffee.
Of the 10-cent
Home
chicken
of the
wing.
10-cent chicken wing, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Ask for Nick. And this week, I have a group. I told you last podcast. I roll with my cousins on Friday night. We created ourselves, calling ourselves the Ride A Friday group.
Very good.
Thank you so
good
much.
example for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Ride A Friday. It's just, it's a way to unwind every Friday.
So is that in between chicken wing night?
That's in between chicken wing
Okay,
night.
fair enough.
So they have been gracious enough to send us $10.
Woo!
$10. And dare I say 4 large coffees and some Timbits? Yeah,
I seen.
that's
We've
right.
Look where we're doing. Started at smalls out of our own
That's
pocket.
right, out of our own pocket.
Mediums from sponsorship. Now we're drinking larges.
Now we're larges.
Timbits. Jeff, it's like they could bring as many people as they want in the studio.
What are
We
gonna
got
do?
enough.
What's next? Those gourmet coffees? It's lights out for everybody.
We doing lattes, boys?
You guys drink the lattes? Starbucks. That's it. That's
Zach
our next
said
pinnacle.
so.
That's right.
Zach said so.
I'm surprised Sir Zach hasn't requested it sooner.
Yes, or if for our German fans, Sir Zach.
Sir Zach.
But I actually, while we're on the topic with Zach and Jeff and the boys over there. So, Jeff, we had the poll of the week that we do on Instagram. And if you remember, the athletes had beat out the movie stars for people get the most action. Right. So we did the Instagram poll again.
Yep.
Rock stars versus
Athletes.
Now, Zach, I know you voted. Clearly you voted rock stars.
Clearly.
I voted rock stars.
I also voted rock stars.
And the trend would continue because the rock stars with a 59% to 41% win over the athletes. The
pure
rock
domination.
stars are voted to get more ass. Woo!
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Bon Jovi. He actually showed up and did that little piece for us right now.
That was better than Bon Jovi. That's Jeff from Alchemy Studios.
That's it, Jeff. Way to go, buddy.
Awesome.
He
So,
was
yeah.
right. From day one when we had Angelo here, he kept saying, give the
he
love
did.
to the rock stars. We're obviously, we talk sports, so we said, let's keep it within the sports realm. He's right.
He was right the whole time. And why do you think that is, though?
Buddy, they're just more noticeable. They're world renowned, man. Yeah. I mean, the Scorpions are still selling out stadiums across the world. All these rock bands, like was it Guns N' Roses played Madison Square Gardens a couple weeks ago?
They did the reunion.
These guys are still hot, literally 30 years later.
Well, who wouldn't want to go see them, right?
You know what? I've had the pleasure of seeing them. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's too bad they can't fully form back together. That one dude's missing, but hey, you know what? Imagine if they do ever get back together. Just one show.
Just one show.
One
crazy. Show only. Guns and Roses.
Slash is back. Do you think that's all he wants? He just needs a better intro or something? Does he hate the fact that he can't sing and he just like...
I think so.
But he plays the guitar better than anybody.
Velvet Revolver. What were you thinking? Slash. Come on.
I think these guys are more impressed that we know this stuff.
We're worldly people to our worldly fans.
Worldly.
Absolutely. So I think the reason that the rock stars won too is rock stars, in my opinion, don't have to hide behind the fact of getting ladies party. Like, it's part of the whole thing.
It's part of the, you're
you know,
absolutely
like
right.
an athlete, they can't go and do the, you know, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We've known that moniker for such a long time. Athletes kind of have to hide behind that,
Absolutely.
right? Whereas the rock star, it's like, hey, you know,
Courage, why aren't you doing your line? Like what?
you're talking about a musical riff, right?
Let's talk about, you're not speaking line.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, silly us. But and then we did one last poll here before we move on, and the poll was, which I knew you were going to win it anyways because I couldn't trump it, but I did a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
And it was, who do you think would win in National Women's Arm Wrestling?
Right.
And you said Polynesia/Samoa.
Yeah.
I put in Estonia in there. I mean, as a default, but I think I was the only one that voted for
really?
Estonia. Yeah, everybody voted.
It was a crushing
It was a
defeat.
crush. It was the most lopsided poll that we had.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, shout out to The Rock and his Polynesian women. That's it. Congrats. You guys can win anybody
if
in
you
arm
smell
wrestling.
what the poll's cooking.
Well done, Cornelius.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
So last night, I'm watching, I'm flipping through the channels, and I fell across one thing that I wanted to kind of bring up and segue it into the next. Have you ever watched that movie Moneyball?
Yeah, I have. I love it. Actually, it was on not too long ago, too.
Yeah.
I actually watched it.
It was on
recently.
again. It seems to be that new movie that's like on every other day or something.
I love the part when Jonah Hill's got to fire Pena. I
Yeah,
believe,
yeah,
right? He just
right.
pulls him in his office. He's like, you've been dealt. He's like, is that it? It's just this awkward silence. It was just well acted.
I would love to meet that actual guy to see like, just everything about him. He seemed like a very quirky kind of guy. But the reason I bring up that movie, love that movie, first off, it was awesome. And I started thinking about like that whole premise of that movie. And then what we talked about last week. So last week we talked about what's the hardest team sport to win,
Right?
get a championship in. And we also talked about what's the hardest individual sport to get in.
That's right.
And then I started watching Moneyball the other day, and I started like correlating. Like, here's these Oakland Athletics that years ago was put together by analytics, by literally like math.
Yeah.
Put together these guys that can hit the ball, making like these guys didn't make any money. In
there
fact,
was
in that
nothing.
movie, Billy Bean, basically said there's dirt, there's garbage, and then there's us. Like, that's where we basically stand with regards to the money issue. The owner totally understood, didn't care, whatever that premise is. So I started thinking to myself, like, wow, Oakland almost won the World Series basically on math and
right.
regrets, like guys that like basically don't have anything to do with anything. Guys
Especially-
that were bottom feeders, literally bottom feeders, weren't even on the spectrum, right?
Well, especially in a sport like baseball, and I even equate basketball into this too, where teams, are so open with the salaries that they can pay the players. That the almost the richer get richer as the
Absolutely.
poor get poor, right?
So I started thinking to myself, and then I texted you, and you said you like the idea of putting this as a conversation piece together. Is our players right now? So I started doing a little analysis. I started looking at
Right.
some of the things. I looked at hockey. I looked at basketball. I looked at football. I looked at golf. I looked at tennis. I looked at a few different sports, NFL obviously. And you'd be surprised to see how much money these guys are making. It's crazy.
They do make a lot
So
of
my
money.
question, I'm going to throw it out there to you, is do you think that sports athletes get paid way too much money to do? Should there be a cap in all sports when it comes to to salary? Like right now in basketball, here, I got the paper right in front of me. This year, Steph Curry.
This is more homework than I think
I've
you've ever
done in my entire life.
Yeah.
But this is homework I enjoyed at the same time. Steph Curry this year, well, I'll grab basketball.
Okay.
This year, $34.6 million he'll make. He could score every single basket for his
Is this
team.
list that you printed, is that without endorsements?
That's without endorsements. Without salaries
paid.
straight.
Okay.
The endorsements, I always look at it as cash, as tip money.
Yeah.
That's that. You know what? Good for you. You
Yeah.
made some tip money. I'm not gonna use that against you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody wants to give you money to wear a shoe, go ahead, or shirt or hat or whatever. Who cares?
Or sponsor a podcast.
Or sponsor a pod. And wait until you see some of these numbers. They have more than enough to take care of Jeff's bill at the end of the month. Way more than enough. It's crazy. So you got Steph Curry making $34.6 million. Next year he'll make $37.4. In year 3 of his 5-year contract, $40 million, $43, and $45 million. Now,
Not bad.
this got absolutely amazing. But his whole premise, and I'm not picking on basketball. We're going to use that as a small example. I can show you hockey ones and everything. He puts a ball in the net once a game. So if he scores 2 points or if he scores all 100 points, he's making $34 million this year, no matter what.
But he'll never score just 2 points.
But obviously not, because he is that there's a reason he's getting paid that given that. But my question is, should there be a cap? And not a salary cap for the team. I'm talking about a cap where buddy, at the end of the day, these guys are athletes. They're amazing. They've worked hard to get where they are. But doesn't there come a point where you're putting a ball in the net?
Sure. Yeah. You know what? I don't mind the salaries they make. I'm of the position, give them more money if they want. A lot of people, like, we look and we say, oh my God, this is absolutely ridiculous. Steph Curry's getting paid $35 million a year to play basketball.
Yeah.
Like, are the salaries getting too much? No, they're not getting too much. This is what his value has become. It's going to be more in the future. And my argument is, okay, if we know that a professional basketball player that can produce X amount of numbers and championships is worth, let's just dummy it down, let's just say 20 to 30 million a year.
Sure.
Okay, because obviously he's a little special. But if that position is worth $30 million a year, then apparently it's up for anyone to do it. So I say, okay, well, why don't we leave our jobs and just go be a superstar for the Golden State Warriors? It doesn't happen. It's a commodity piece. And if the money is there and the money is willing to be given, why not? The people that are winning are the fans in Golden State. They have the money to allocate those funds because the stadium still gets sold out. People still want to come watch it no matter. Look at Westbrook. I think Westbrook signed a 5-year, $204 million contract. I think
that's
just
right.
recently,
yeah.
right?
That's right here, yeah.
So that guy's making a killing and everyone's like, oh, is this too much? No, it's not too much. Let the guy make money.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say to you that it is
you
too
are.
much. Well, this time I'm only disagreeing with you because A, I hate you, and B, I truly think that when it comes to sports, where does it end? Are we literally going to go down a route where one day there's going to be an athlete that makes $100 million a year?
Yeah, but you could, okay, so
That's crazy.
that's an athlete because they're entertainment. Why aren't we talking about this for movie stars? There are movie stars out there that are making that much money. I mean,
because this podcast is about sports. So can I?
Well, I know, but
I know,
I'm just
but
making a
you're
point.
it makes no sense what you're saying.
Why do you always pull me aside and talk
Because
to me about
you
shit like this
say
when we're on the podcast?
stupid shit.
I say stupid shit.
Anyway, so you were saying, I apologize.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or is this thing on? So the jerk. I just think, no. Would you want to cap yourself?
Listen, you know what, man? Of course, on one end, you don't want to. But I think where I live in my head is I'm realistic. At the end of the day, if I'm making $20 million a year, are you telling me Steph Curry is not going to be happy, or any athlete that plays a sport is not going to be happy with $20 million a year? I don't care if you came from the projects or you were born with a white picket fence around your house. You're making $20 million a year to play a sport. 40, 45 plus endorsements. Like, this is craziness,
Yeah,
man.
but you could also say there are people that are making $20 million sitting in front of a computer doing nothing.
Absolutely. Dude, you know
So
what?
they're contract employees, man.
But see, you know what's happening here, and I had a feeling this was going to happen. We're going to talk about other things. I agree. I could talk about where I work, and the CEOs are making this.
Yeah, but
and that.
why do we have to give a bad rap just to sports, though?
You know what? You're right. Maybe we don't. But I'm just looking at these. I guess when it comes down to it, going back to Moneyball, here's a whole movie, a production that was based on a true story of.
Jeff said 20 mil is only $2,283 an hour.
Exactly. Like when
What is that? Isn't that Alchemy Studio time?
when you really pull it back, that's the big thing, right? Yeah. Like when you pull it back, like that number that Jeff just presented us, to $2,800, he said, what was it?
Yeah, $2,200.
$2,200 an hour. How hard are you working to make that, man?
Well, I know we make $10 a week so far doing this.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, look, I give them all the props in the world for getting where they got to and being at the top of their sport.
I think,
but in my opinion, there just comes a point where it's like, come on, man.
I think I know where your frustrations lie. Your frustrations lie, I think, in most people, is the sport all around. You look at hockey, for example. Right. Hockey has a salary cap.
Yeah.
Players can only make a certain amount of money. Now, granted, a league as a whole, there's not as much money in that league for the distribution of funds to go around.
Sure.
As a result, you've created a league that has a lot more parity in comparison to other ones, like basketball, like baseball. Excuse me. So I think the terms of a salary cap for a league is a good thing to see all that parity, but they're contract employees. I believe that it's just not easy to be that type of player and to do that type of job. But the fans want it. They go to the games, they pay the tickets.
Do the
they buy
fans
the
want
jerseys.
it? That's what I'm asking. I don't think there's any fan that'll be really upset if they go from 40 million to 20 million, man. All I'm going to say is this: Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, both two top players, top paid players in the NHL right now, both making 13.8 million. How does it feel that they're making $20 million basically less? Or, whatever.
But it's just the sport. There's not as much money in hockey
I agree. Okay,
as there is in NFL.
I agree. I know that part of it. I totally understand that. But $13 million, do you think Jonathan Toews is starving? Compared to Steph Curry's, he's starving.
Maybe.
Like, when does it come to a point where these guys are saying, like, to me, it's ridiculous, man. To me,
you want to know what's ridiculous?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you what the most impressive one on topic of money. Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
When the Forbes lists were all coming out, right? Obviously, the staples: Federer, LeBron,
right,
Ronaldo, Messi. Now Westbrook. They're all on there. But their total earnings in the year were always what they made in a season plus the endorsement deals.
Right.
Anytime Floyd Mayweather has been fighting in the last 5 years, he's always made the number one Forbes top paid athlete with 0 endorsements. Is that crazy?
That's crazy. So funny you say that. Look at this. Last week we said tennis was one. We both agreed tennis was not maybe the number one hardest individual sport, but we picked it as probably, we both concur, it's probably second. I think
Federer's the number 3 top paid athlete.
Dude, $6 million is what Federer made in winnings. He makes $64 million in endorsements.
Yeah.
$6 million. This guy is at the top of his sport for how many years? Dominates, and all he won last year. And when I say all he won, hard work, determination by himself, $6 million.
Right.
And then you got a guy, and he has to win these championships so that he can stay on pace to win that much, right? He obviously, as you can see here, he's considerably higher than everyone else.
I don't deny how hard it is. Yeah.
Okay. And then you got a guy, like I said, in basketball, and I don't want to pick on basketball. I'm just using it as a good example.
Yeah.
He scores 2 points. He doesn't score 2 points. Or he scores all the points or whatever. $43 million.
But the teams are making their value back, right? And so I just believe we live in a free world where opportunity, you can make as much money as you want, whether it be in business. These guys are contract employees. And I don't want to hate on anyone. Would you ever turn that down? If you're in the position and we're like, hi, Mitch, we'd like to pay you $60 million a year for doing a sports podcast, would you be like, you know what? Take half of it, shove it up your ass. That's a little ridiculous for a podcast. I'll settle for $5 million.
I couldn't agree more. But I'm gonna listen to me, man.
It's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault. But they are. But how many times has hockey gone on strike and basketball gone on strike and the NFL gone on strike because they don't think they're making enough money?
Yeah, but here's the thing too, Mitch. The career of an athlete is very short. Okay, now I'm not. Obviously, they're making crazy money.
Boo-hoo, man.
Boo-hoo.
$20 million or $40 million, and their career might be shut short.
Yeah, but these are the people at the top. Think about people that are athletes for 5 to 10 years that are they're making maybe $1 million or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but they're done by the age of 30.
Playing a sport. Let's go back. Let's just go back to what it is. At the end of the day, these guys, I want to make it seem I love all these guys. I'm doing a podcast based on all these guys, okay? But I do feel like it is absolutely crazy that these salaries keep going higher and higher and higher. And going back to your question to me, if somebody offered me $50 million, would I take it? Of course I would. Yeah. But at the same time, there comes a point where I will in my head, I'll be like, wow, I can't believe I'm being offered $50 million to talk on the radio or do whatever. If somebody came to me and said, okay, you know what, we're cutting you back to $42 million, I don't think I'm going to cry too much about it. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm older now and I just value the dollar a little bit more, Corley, or Dimitri. Sorry, it was use your last name. But at the end of the day, what I just don't get is team sports are making this much money, right?
Right.
And then you got a guy like Federer who's out there by himself, kicking ass, doing everything, and the poor dude's only making $6 million.
I know, but that goes into TV deals.
I agree.
There's so many factors as to where the money is in the sports.
Well,
right?
I got a good one for you here. Just because I got curious, I pulled off the golf stats too. Okay, just because everyone thinks golfers make big money too, right?
Yeah, but I think Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus are one of the few exceptions.
So just to show you the difference, right? So you got Federer, who's dominating his sport as an individual.
Right.
He has to win all his championships basically, and he's making $6 million. Tiger Woods hasn't won anything for many years. He's still ranked 4th in 2017.
Tiger Woods hasn't even won court cases lately.
Yeah, dude, look at this. On course. That's hilarious. Exactly. Poor guy can't even win on that, man. Last year, the dude won, or this year, he's made on course. So just for the tournaments he's been in.
Before you go, did he get the speedballs from Jeff? Jeff, did you fucked up Woods?
We made
the
you know
connection.
What? Respect the Woods. He didn't rat him out. He's not a rat.
Woods is going to jail for you. That's amazing.
That's amazing. That's good. No, that's good. I love it. So, buddy, Tiger Woods came 4th this year in making money in golf this year, 2017. Right. On course, so the events he did go into and bombed in, he still made $107,000. His endorsement deals, $34.6 million. Phil Mickelson, on course. So this year, the guy made $4.2 million in his winnings and playing golf.
Right.
$33 million in endorsements. Arnold Palmer, God rest his soul. Obviously, he didn't play any tournaments this year.
Yeah,
$40 million. $40 million, though. He's number 2. The number 1 guy, Rory McIlroy, who has tailed off, as they say, still made $17 million on course.
Wow.
The guy made $32 million in endorsements. He's the number 1 guy. And then just because of hockey and we're in Canada, Dustin Johnson, who is Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law, right? He came 7th this year, so disappointing. He's not number 1 like his. Could you imagine the conversation piece? Dude. Like, what's that like, eh?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
He gets into an argument with his wife. She's like, "You're a loser. You're number 7. My dad's the greatest. In fact, they call him the greatest of all time." Like, can you imagine what that's like?
Such pressure, right?
Such pressure.
Talking about, like, and being an athlete, because you're both athletes at the table. So Gretzky's probably sitting there talking. He's like, when I won those 5 Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers, that was excellent. And then I actually went to L.A. where the team wasn't that good. I just brought McSorley with me. We went to the final there, too. And I got about 2,800 points and 50 goals. And he's like, I finally won a U.S. Open by default because the other guy.
Imagine he's cutting his steak dinner, right? And he's like, "So, how much do you make this year, Dustin?"
I made Spieth win a championship because I 3-putted.
Yeah, I made $12.6 million. 12.6, and he's like all quiet about it. And that's pretty good. Pretty good for a rookie. Pretty good. Can you imagine the conversation?
Dustin, can you go get me your fucking shine box?
But that's exactly. But think about it. The guy's in 7th place this year. Yeah. He made $12 million on course, and that's bad.
I want to,
Come on, man.
I may be going off it here, but I brought up and I don't want to lose it. On the topic of Tiger Woods, do you think that he'll ever win another major tournament again, or is it over?
Unless he starts banging girls at Perkins again, no, he's not going to win anything. That dude, and I say it jokingly, but I say it honestly. He has to revert back. He's got to go back to what made him win. And if that means he picks up girls and has random sex in literally Perkins bathrooms, then do it, man. Get back. Get yourself back, man.
I'll take a half-ass order of pancakes, hash brown, and I'll get an orange juice, and I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Can I get some flapjacks and your ass in the bathroom, please?
Mr. Woods, you've been in the washroom for quite some time. I'll be right there in a minute. Just testing out the 9-iron.
The weird thing is, great special effects there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Things are tight here.
I think he's over. He'll probably win maybe a tournament here and there. But what I think the career is over. I don't see him winning another major. But I agree with you. And all jokes aside, if that guy was performing at a high level, banging strippers and prostitutes and porn stars and probably drinking and doing the party life and having that balance, get back into it a little bit.
He's just got to get back to what made him successful.
He's happy there.
Absolutely. And dude,
what's wrong with little womanizing?
To defend him a little bit. Tell me another guy that went through an affair and made it, and it was so public. Like, it destroyed the poor guy, man. Like, okay, he was a dirtball. Fine. He did what he did. He banged a whole bunch of stuff. He is. Yeah. Jeff is telling us he's the rock star of athletes, and he is.
Yep.
And the reality is, this is a guy that was, he was born and raised with a club in his hands.
Yep.
He went to Stanford. He went to an Ivy League school. He probably didn't date a lot of girls because he dominated his sport. Yep. Then the minute these hot girls were all over him, the dude succumbed to the pressure. but he's still performing at top levels on the course. It's crazy.
Can you put him as the greatest golfer of all time, or is that something you still give Jack Nicklaus?
Oh, I still think Jack right now, just because that is such a tournament-based,
right,
sport. But to be honest, man, if Tiger never got caught, if that idiot would just understand how to control his voice messages.
And social media is a little more prevalent too.
True,
exposes a lot of people's demons.
But did you ever hear how he so his wife found his voicemail and he calls the girl back, the girl that the wife was all upset about.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, it's Tiger. My wife found out. Please delete all my messages." Like, the poor guy, you can tell, has never ever been a dirtbag.
You didn't need to do damage control before.
Man, the dude, he doesn't.
And he asked nicely. It was a very cordial voicemail.
Very cordial, trying to make things better, right?
Well, you know what? She got off with a good settlement, that's for sure.
Not just that, but she took the club to his head, man. Like, way to go. Bottom line.
A car scene chase like the Simpson case probably would have capped it all off.
Oh, man.
I agree. But I'm with you too. Like Jack Nicklaus, he's got the stats. It is a very stats-based thing. However, the one thing with Tiger Woods, had that not happened, I know it's a big what if. I think as a talent, though, I never seen a guy crush a ball and make some shots. He made golf sexy again. Yeah, he got a lot of people watching it. I think the whole generation of anyone in the 90s, even me, I never golfed until maybe a little bit later when I started with friends, but I knew who Tiger Woods was, and I loved watching these highlights. That iconic putt. I don't know. Right. I don't know exactly. And fans, listeners, you tweet us if you know exactly how many feet it was, but where it just hit the lip of the cut and then dropped in.
Amazing.
So I think he in terms of just for the sport, I put him, in my opinion, as the greatest to have played the game on a talent perspective. Maybe not so much achievement.
Well, we'll come back to the discussion again one day when we talk about like best of all time.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
I'd like to do a show like that.
Absolutely, we will. But going back to kind of where we segued off a little bit, I do still think, and I'm going to stick to my guns a little bit, and it's probably going to cause some fights with some people. I'm all about making as much money as you can. If you're doing something like, I'll be honest with you, if Federer somehow could make $300 million, I give him all the respect in the world. When it's a team-based sport, man, I gotta be honest. I know the salary cap's there as a team, but even as a player, I'm a big guy, and maybe the salary cap in a weird way, I'm gonna kind of revert backwards. Is the salary cap is that cap to that individual because you can't give everyone that much money. But $40 million per guy, man. Why not take some of that money, owners, and give it back to the fans?
Yeah, but if you think about it, the teams have their own type of cap. So the team, like when it's loose, a team can only afford to pay their star player X amount of money. They go through their budget, they go through their personal payroll. So there is an individual cap. They decided to do that. And the only people that are winning, in my opinion, are the athletes, and as they should. They have to be on the court. They have to be, they are the product.
Absolutely.
It's not the stadium. It's not the ownership group. This is a finite amount of people. I know in the NHL, and I'd imagine basketball the same, there's only 750-ish roster spots for someone to a team. That is, to me, worth a lot. And that's why I say, okay, if we know that someone can get paid that much, let's just go be the best soccer player in the world and go to Paris Saint-Germain for 450 American.
Sure. I'm going to leave it at this. I think it's a little bit of what I do for a living and, in a sales role and all that. The NFL's got it right. I'm going to just leave it on this, my last piece.
Sure.
The NFL's got it right, where they give you a guaranteed amount of money up front. They say to you, hey, Joe Flacco, we're going to give you $50 million up front, and we're going to give you a $100 million contract for 5 years. You got to earn the rest of it. If in year 2 or 3 he sucks, they can cut him. They gave him the upfront money, $20 million, $17 million, whatever it is, and the rest of it, sorry, you didn't earn it. You're gone. Yeah, I love that.
I like that
I would
too.
love to see all sports incorporate that sort of contracts. I think it would be fantastic, and I think that's when I can really appreciate these guys making the money they're worth. Then I can turn around and say, you were worth every penny.
Well, it goes back to even that whole commission-based stuff, right? You're getting a base salary, and then after that is commission.
Absolutely.
So a good thing you ended on NFL. We'll probably revisit this topic again. I'd love to hear the listeners' feedback as well.
That'd be awesome.
Go to our Facebook page or Twitter, tweet us on our social media channels. Give us your thoughts on it. We're active on there as well. So please, message us on there. We'd love to kind of start a debate and kind of get all of the fans engaged. So,
Absolutely.
But going into the NFL, big, it's do or die.
Me and you are literally we're having our own championship bout. This week again, fans, we tied. If you're following, we tied again. So the series sits at Dimitri 3, I have 2, and we have 2 ties. We tied again this week.
Yeah.
It was a shorter week. A lot of teams were on the bye this week, so there wasn't as many games.
I do want to bring up, sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
Mitch,
sure.
but everyone knows, like we said, we're recording today's Monday.
Right.
The Monday nighter tonight, because we're recording into it, does that affect?
No, we had the same team.
We picked the same
Yeah,
team.
we picked the Chiefs.
So everyone knows we're doing our picks for week 9 coming
Correct.
up.
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
So what we got is week 9. Anything kick out at you quickly from week 8? Anything exciting?
Well, I know that your 5-star pick of the week pulled through again. I thought I had you. I'm like, Houston's going to do it.
What a great game that was!
Excellent game. That really stood out. It was an excellent game. That Deshaun Watson, they found the quarterback for that team. I think they got a good future.
How are you feeling, Browns fans, that you guys had this guy sitting right there, and you guys gave him away? Like,
Yeah. How's RG3 doing, boys?
holy moly, man, those guys. Literally, like, wow. Like, and the guy, like, won the national champion. He beat Alabama, which basically is a NFL team in college.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once that guy won that, when you say, you know what? This guy's kind of ready for the NFL.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to pick this guy up.
Look good.
I like him.
Good
I'm gonna
looking.
grab him.
He's obviously made it to some good tournaments on live TV in the last couple of years.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's not bad, this guy.
Actually, you know what did stand out to me? Well, I want to touch on this really quick. So I picked the Falcons
Yeah,
to win. They did, but barely.
but barely.
Are the Jets? I made fun of them. I said, because remember I told
We
you.
both did, yeah.
I think even the Jets did. They're
I
like,
think the Jets fans had it.
Is Geno coming back yet? Like, how are we going to do this here? But has he paid anyone back? Has Geno taken any loans?
See, there you go, man. Don't even get me started. Like, we're just going to get to it.
So actually, that goes back to the point. They need more money because Geno had to borrow from his own player and get the shit kicked out of him.
I have
You're
no,
terrible,
I have
Mitch.
nothing
You're
to say.
terrible.
I
But
have nothing to
anyways,
say.
I thought the Jets. I said, no way they're winning more than 3 games. And no way. But what is happening? Are the teams doing bad? What's happening?
I just think, you know what? I think it just comes down to right now. We've talked about a couple of weeks ago on a couple of podcasts ago. There's a changing of the guard. I think there's just a change in general.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, we're too media focused as well. You know, you hear a lot of NFL analysts tell you the Jets were dead, and now they're on their bandwagon. There's too much of it, and I think we all fall for it because we can't help it.
True.
So
True.
I'm a big guy on. I think we just have to follow each week, and the way I bet sports, I'll be honest with you, especially NFL, I've learned my lessons through that.
Yeah.
I don't care what they did the week before. I just look at who they're playing and what they're doing this week.
Gotcha.
It's hard to not think about what they did last week,
Yeah.
but you can't think like that because everybody's different.
Is it a situation where they don't really have too many star players anymore, and it's just a team that's kind of rallying? Just a
Exactly.
bunch of mediocre
Absolutely.
players that are just
Absolutely.
consistently chipping and getting it done. That probably is the case. But
I think coaching plays a big role, especially in the NFL. I think it's one of those sports that coaching plays a major, which we'll talk about,
Yeah.
and, I'm sure at a later date. How
Well,
important
we
is
should
coaching?
we should put that into some of the greatest coaches
absolutely.
of all time and do a show.
Absolutely.
That'd be cool.
But, right before your pick, the first pick you made last week, loved it. Great call on the Dolphins-Ravens game.
So my new theory actually, so we tied.
Mm-hmm.
So what that tells me is that there may be something there.
Yeah, true.
I didn't take one thing into consideration about, why a dolphin, because I said a dolphin would pull the raven
Right.
into the sea.
Right.
Which would normally happen.
Of course it would.
But I didn't realize that it's Halloween week coming up. And the raven is one of the most symbolic, if not the most, birds for Halloween. Edgar Allan Poe's quote, "The
that makes
raven
so much
nevermore."
sense. Most of these animals have calendars, and they would know what day it is.
I think they think they go with the 12-month Julian calendar. Yes.
I have nothing to say to you. For all the fans listening, you know what I'm thinking. So there's not really nothing else I could say right now. All right, let's start off our picks this week. Let's get her going.
Do it. Let's
all
do
right,
it.
the Thursday nighter. Bills at Jets.
The Bills at the Jets.
At the Jets.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you brought a bill to the airport, there is no way that they would let that bill on the plane and the Jets would fly without it. I'm taking the Jets.
Wow. That's a good pick. I like it. I'm going with the Bills, though. Buccaneers at Saints.
The Buccaneers at the Saints.
P.S. Did you see that horrible injury? The Chicago.
Zach Miller.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man. You know what? Heart goes out to that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know who listens all the time to us, but that dude's leg, as of today, was maybe they were thinking about amputating it. It's that bad, the injury.
Okay, so how much do you think?
heart goes out to that
How
guy.
much money do you think a leg is worth? Because this goes right back to my point. If that guy's career is over,
There's insurance, man. There's
I know
insurance and all
there's
that.
insurance.
What can I say? I mean, it's a different topic, different
I'm just
conversation.
trying to hammer my point out because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate being wrong.
Yeah, no,
everyone who
fair
knows
enough,
me,
fair enough.
everyone who knows me is like, Dimitri, you always have to be right. Like other people can be right too.
Fair enough.
But I just can't. I can't.
I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to see that. But yeah,
What's
heart
your
goes out to
opinion?
that guy. That was
Yeah,
crazy, man.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
crazy.
It's sad to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the Buccaneers
Yeah, at the Saints.
at the Saints. I think it's a battle of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
I see the Pirates are womenizing.
You know, we only have
stealing
an hour,
thieves.
right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm taking the Saints.
Saints.
Come on, people.
Do you know
they like
why
this
I know?
bit.
Do you? I could almost pick all the games that you're gonna pick. Like I know what you're gonna do now. I can see what you're doing, and you know what I'm gonna do?
What's that?
I'm gonna do what you. I'm going against you. I'm gonna take the Bucks. The Bucks suck, but you know what? The Bucks and the Saints always play hard against each other.
Well,
I'm
it looks
taking
like the buck stops here. Ayo.
So sad, so cheesy, like your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons at Panthers.
You can make fun of a lot of things, but don't ever make fun of my hair.
I knew it's your
It is
goal.
a nice
I know.
hair.
You know what's funny? I could say anything about your wife.
And it doesn't
Dare I
matter.
say your
Let you.
family?
Yep.
But when it comes to your hair, for some reason, you are all like.
And you know I'm sounding like Trump here, but I have some of the best hair. I have some of the best hair. It's true. It's well conditioned. It's I
in a couple of
shampoo
weeks
every
from now,
couple
you know
days.
what? We're gonna make that a poll question in a couple of weeks when we go
Right.
YouTube. Then let's find out.
Put me up against another John Stamos.
John
Me versus the Stamos.
You versus Stamos.
Fuck you,
Fuck you.
Stamos. Full house. Yeah, right.
Hey, you know how I hate Greek on Greek violence. I hate it. I don't want that. Come on. You know how much I hate that stuff.
Okay. what was
Falcons
it?
at Panthers.
Falcons at the Panthers. I think a Panther would destroy a Falcon in a fight. It's a no-brainer.
I too am gonna go Panthers. I think the Falcons are actually finally done. Rams at Giants.
The Rams at the Giants. Well, it's a giant. It means it's bigger than the Ram. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Giants.
Boom. That is the worst pick. Both coming off bye weeks. I'm going off with the number one offense. I'm going with the Rams. Ravens at Titans.
The Ravens at the Titans. I think Halloween week is over, and I think they overachieved because of it. So I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. Actually, you know what? My brother-in-law he and my sister-in-law, they just moved to Tennessee.
Oh.
Well, he went first, right, in Johnson
great.
City there.
Sure.
So I got to ride that too. I
Yeah.
think this is a good omen.
You know what? That's a good omen.
I'm taking the Titans for Brendan D.
I'm about to do something here.
Oh no.
No, I won't do it.
Oh,
here.
no.
Ravens at Titans. I'm gonna go. I'll take the Titans there. I'll take the Titans. I think that's
Okay.
good. Bengals at Jags. Ooh, two cats.
Ooh, two cats.
Two big cats going at it.
I'm just trying to think of a joke with
Yeah, fair enough.
two cats, but I'm gonna let it go. Sorry, say that it was the Bengals.
Bengals at the Jags.
at the Jags. I'm riding the Jags.
We're in the Jags.
Yeah, I think Bengal Jaguar, cutting speed. They're at home, so it's at home terrain. Be able to go through kind of the nice forest. Cunning Warriors take out the Bengal.
I'm gonna take the Jags as well. They're just a better defense.
Okay.
Broncos at Eagles.
Broncos at Eagles. I think at this time, I really think that the Bronco is just going to outmuscle the Eagle one-on-one. Finally, it'll buck the Eagle.
You know
I'm
what?
going Broncos.
I'm gonna do something here because we have a good buddy, and I want to shout out to my boy Vic. Huge Eagles fan.
Yes.
You know Vic. I know Vic.
Yes.
He's fighting some things right now. For the first time ever, and the only time I'm going to do this for Vic, I'm going to take the Eagles.
That's awesome.
Colts at Texans.
The Colts at the Texans. Hey, a Texan knows how to wrangle a Colt. I'm going with the Texans.
You know what, man? That Deshaun Watson, he's amazing. I'm with
watching
Texans,
him.
man. He's
And
fun to watch.
He's just going to get better and
Yeah,
better.
he is. He's got 19 touchdown passes already.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, crazy. Redskins at Seahawks.
The Redskins at the Seahawks. There is no way. See, it's hard to make a joke with a team like the Redskins.
Yeah,
Like they're
seriously. You
wanting to
gotta be
change the
careful.
name.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
now I look at them like, well, a Redskin. It's like, oh my God. Like, what am I saying?
I told you last week to
yeah,
keep it
yeah,
down.
well, that was funny. Yeah, Cowboys versus Redskins. You're like, and be careful. Seahawks.
You know what? I think the Seahawks are they're right there. I think they're getting there, and it's at home. That's the only reason I'm taking the Seahawks.
That was, yeah.
Cardinals at 49ers. And Parson, I believe, is out, right? Or Palmer, pardon me.
Yeah.
Palmer. Ugh.
So I'm going to take, on this one right here, the introduction and official Dimitri's underdog upset of the week, 49ers.
Wait. What did you just do?
It was my Dimitri's underdog upset.
Wait. Where did this come from?
To be honest, I got a little jealous. You got your 5-star pick of the week, and I thought I could do something.
Listen, man, if there's one thing I know, you don't self-gloss. You can't self-gloss yourself. You can't just give yourself a tag
How
along.
can you get something? I want something.
You know what?
Every time we look forward
where
to-
are you, 4? This is not the way it works in the real
Yeah,
world.
I think it is the way it works.
No, it's
Yeah,
not the way it
fine.
works.
I'm coming in here.
Earlier, you had a good discussion.
my
I
God.
gave you that one. You had some good points. You can't just start throwing your own taglines
Come
together.
on, I walk in here. Jeff's ready to do a little music for you on the fucking keyboard for your
Yeah,
5-star,
you know what? Because
5-star pick
it came
of the
out
week.
of nowhere. It was
My
fun.
family,
You were all over it. Now
I like
all
it.
of a sudden you're gonna come up with the under.
the Dimitri's underdog upset of the week.
You know what? This is what I'm gonna do
Doesn't
for
that
you.
sound good?
I'm gonna do this for you. I
Does it
hate
not
that-
sound good?
No, it doesn't. But what I'm gonna say to you is this: I'm gonna let you go with it for 1 week, and I'll tell you why. If it doesn't come through, it's dead. If it doesn't come through, it's dead as of
You know
right
what?
now.
Deal.
Deal.
We're shaking. Jeff,
Deal.
can you verify that we're shaking? And Zach?
right there.
We're
That's a
shaking?
shake. That's
If
it. Done.
the Dimitri's underdog upset of the week, I have to ingrain it. It's all about.
I'm not gonna lie to you; it's kind of wearing on me a little bit. I have to admit.
What's
it.
wearing on you? Dimitri's underdog upset of the week.
Okay, who did you take there? Who did you take?
I took the 49ers. Okay.
49ers.
If the 49ers lose,
Yeah,
it's gone.
it's gone.
done. Out.
Out.
Okay.
So I'm going for the Cardinals for that reason. Chiefs at Cowboys.
Ooh.
I'm kind of cheering for you in a weird way.
Please God. Please 49ers. Chiefs at Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the Cowboys, they beat the Redskins last week. And you know what? I think the Cowboys, all jokes aside, I'm just going to leave this alone.
Yeah.
Chief, Redskins.
I just realized that 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
It's like, what's the NFL doing here? These bunch of racists? What's happening? Okay, the war is over. I'll tell you what. All jokes aside, I do think that Dallas, like I said, is gaining in momentum week to week. If Elliott, that they know is probably going to play the rest of the season, there's a lot of pressure off this team to just kind of get back and perform. I really feel sorry for the Dallas Cowboys because they've been in such limbo. I'm taking the Cowboys to beat the Chiefs in Jerry World.
You know what? Chiefs are coming off a short week. I like Chiefs defense a little bit better, but I'm going to go with Cowboys as well. I think you're right. If Zeke's running and Dak's playing, you know what? The Chiefs don't stand a chance at home in Jerryland. Sunday Night Football. Way to go, NFL. One more time. Raiders at Dolphins. I'm pretty sure this actual game sucked even from the beginning. But anyways. Go
Yeah, well, the Raiders have the sea advantage. That's where the Dolphins are. It's a no-brainer. The Raiders are definitely going to be hunting Dolphin.
No respect for the Dolphins, eh?
Not anymore. Not after what they did to me last week.
Fair enough.
I picked the Dolphins 44-0. Wow.
No, I got to go with the Raiders too, just because I think the Dolphins now are a little bit more decimated. They're playing to what people thought they were going to do earlier. Lions on the Monday nighter. Lions at Packers.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's really okay. Honestly, conventionally speaking, the Lions definitely should win this game. They do always play the Packers tough, even with Aaron Rodgers there. I actually like what's happening with the Packers running game as a result. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think that the defense might hold up. I think because it's Monday night and Monday night's wonky, I really do think that the Packers are gonna pack up some lions and ship them out worldwide. I'm going with the Packers, and not because I'm a Packers fan. You know what? This could have been another Dimitri's underdog upset
You only get
of
one,
the week.
and please,
but
God,
I didn't.
you did
I
the thing.
I want people to fall in love with it. It's
You
just
know,
bullshit.
it sound. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like your enthusiasm behind it,
Right.
And people need to see it, but because they don't, it's not made for radio. I'm gonna take the Packers as well. I'm gonna roll with the Packers, but then you're asking yourself, wait a minute, where's the five star pick of the week?
And I picked the Packers.
And you picked the Packers. I
what-
picked the Packers, but that's not the pick. Oh. My five star pick of the week, because we're rolling, because it feels so good. I'm gonna take the Texans in the easiest pick of them all, just to let it roll, baby. Let it roll. Texans 5-star pick of the week.
Did I pick the Texans?
You did. Yeah.
I'm not messing with you.
No,
There's a
you
thing,
took
and
it,
I
you took
really tried to jinx it last week.
I know you did.
Okay, so our season now is 3-2-2.
Yep.
That's where we're sitting at.
That's where we're sitting at.
That's awesome.
Boom.
So I know we're running close to the time limit here, but we did want to talk about something that's happening this weekend in the sports world. Great Canadian guy coming back to the UFC November 4th, George St. Pierre, fighting. I like that. Yeah. Fighting. You're all about sound effects today, hey? I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Like
Do they charge? Are you guys going to charge us more if we ask for sound effects? We got to know that first before.
Just make my own. Walk around with a drum.
Yeah, we'll bring like a little ukulele. But he's fighting Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
George has returned to the ring after quite a long layoff. What do you think about this, Mitch? Who do you think wins this fight coming up?
I'm not the biggest UFC guy, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say two things. I think St. Pierre wins, and not because he's Canadian and all that stuff. It's because this Bisping guy is trying to make this a Mayweather-McGregor fight. Have you noticed how
He's a talker. He is
but
a
dude, he
talker.
sucks at it. He's not McGregor. He's got to learn that he's not McGregor, and he's not going to make this fight more exciting than it is. Is he bigger than St. Pierre? Yeah. Has he been in obviously more fights than him lately? Yes. But at the end of the day, the one thing Pierre is, he's strong, and he's been off for a while. So he's probably well conditioned. It's going to be a boring fight. He's going to grab him, he's going to throw him to the mat, and he's just going to beat him up.
That's definitely the game plan there. Bisping is definitely a striker, definitely a better boxer. Striker, he has actually formal boxing training, right? Mm-hmm. But in the MMA world, he's a good striker. I think I actually am picking Bisping on this one.
Oh, wow, really?
And so here's the thing. St. Pierre's
You're a traitor.
Traitor. St. Pierre's not stupid, and I want St. Pierre to win. Because I want to see him continue to fight a few more fights coming back. Mm-hmm. Because if he loses this one, it's going to be really hard, to draw the money. And I heard that they're having a little bit of trouble with ticket sales as well.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Right? Because it's just obviously not going well. And the thing too, Mitch, this fight was supposed to happen months ago, and they had to cancel and redo and this and that. But I think the layoff is really going to hurt St. Pierre. He's calculated. I think he looks at Bisping and says, you know what, this is a guy that I think I can beat. But I just think Bisping's active, he's hungry, and Bisping is in the zone. And Bisping is used to fighting a lot of different types of people, right? Yeah. So I got Bisping.
I'll say one more thing. I've seen him fight a few times. I've seen him get beaten up a few times too. But you can kind of tell he doesn't feel like he's being respected. And I'll say I'll give him
Bisping,
maybe that.
you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think I'll give him a little bit of an edge, or a little bit of that anger edge, or that like. He's mad at UFC. He's mad at the world. He wants to prove that he's better than St. Pierre. But you know what, man? St. Pierre didn't lose his title. He lost it because he got injured and he had to relinquish it, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And he had some personal issues.
Okay, fair enough. But what I'm saying is no one beat him in the ring. Right. And so at the end of the day, you're not, to beat the champ, or what's the saying?
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
That's right.
So you got St. Pierre. I got Bisping.
Yep.
Should we?
You want to put a little wager on that?
You want to put a little something?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do one better.
What's that?
We're going to go on our social media channels.
Yep.
We want you, our listeners and fans, to be creative. Let us know what the loser has to do.
I like it.
To the winner, and we'll leave it up.
Nothing illegal.
Nothing illegal, and nothing that I wouldn't normally do on a weekend.
No, yeah.
And no speedballs.
Oh, Jeff put his phone down all of a sudden.
There was another, there's a couple things, again, I know how quick, there was another fight that happened this past weekend.
Yeah.
heavyweight champ of the world, Anthony Joshua.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, he did a 10th round stoppage against Carlos Takam, and he's just continuing to dominate. Now, there's a little controversy over the stoppage. A lot of people, because he was missing the punches in the 10th round, and they were wondering why the ref stopped it. But you guys got to keep one thing in mind, that they have to watch through the whole fight, right, and protect the fighters. And so if he's getting considerable damage, we got to watch for that. Hopefully, they set up the Deontay Wilder. He's the American champ right now, WBC. And on the fight game, quick shout out to a listener of ours who's following us. It is Nico Valdez, and he just turned professional. Actually, he's got 6 professional fights. You can follow him on Instagram. He's very active. Babyface_Nico. He's 6-0, 5 KOs, fighting at super middleweight division. He's a southpaw out of Miami, Florida, and he signed to Golden Boy Promotions. And he just started following us a couple weeks ago.
Awesome.
And we're going to look for him. So shout out. Thanks for following.
Thanks, Babyface_Nico.
Babyface_Nico. Thanks for following. We'll be watching for you. Hopefully we'll see you on an undercard sooner rather than later. If you watch, this guy's got a mean left hand.
Does he?
Oh, man. It's a good looking left hand.
Speaking of left hands, I think the podcast is basically, we're done here. So I'm going to smash you in the face with my left hand. I think it's basically what's
you can't hit what you can't catch, Mitch. You cannot hit what you can't catch.
No, it was, I really liked, I think I learned a little something from you today, but I enjoyed today's podcast. I think the fact that we're talking about some things that are relevant, I liked it. And you know what? Let's see what the polls bring this week. Let's see what happens this week.
Absolutely.
With the World Series. I think there's gonna be some awesome games going.
We're gonna have
forward.
a lot to talk about next week.
Yeah,
and the other thing too, I want to bring this up. Zach, you cost us some money, buddy.
Yeah, man.
You cost us some money.
Yeah, man.
But it takes 3 apparently to tango.
Yeah.
Can't put you on the hook. But just tell Jeff that we can't pay this week. We could just get a little bit of an extension.
Just give us a week, man.
The
That's it.
the
Just a
Crim
week.
Mercator girls that did win, but they didn't hit the over.
They didn't hit the over.
Now, if you're asking why we're not putting a bet, and he's eating the Timbits, you son of a bitch. No. In Spidey's through the glass. I think they locked us in here.
Yeah,
they're like, gas the room, gas the room.
You don't want to pay? Now you can't leave.
Yeah. Yes, but I no. All jokes aside, the reason we're not betting this week is because we might have a sponsor next week that'll help us out. So
Absolutely.
we're looking forward to
Stay
that.
tuned. It's fun. It's exciting. A lot of cool things happening, and I got a couple of surprises myself in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I love it. And until then, follow us on all our social media channels at Real Locker Room Talk, Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter, if you type in Real Locker Room Talk, you'll find us, but it's also at Mitch and Dimitri. We do the Twitter polls on there all the time. Keep on Fridays for the official poll of the week. And thanks again to Alchemy Studios. Who treat us so greatly. You guys are awesome. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All
and
right. Well, I think that's it.
That's it, and it's time to hit the showers.
Sounds good.